some believe, sir, some believe that even if everything for the next 4 years is set in place, the continuity of it might actually be an issue as to who else can actually take that position and maintain the standard. And if that doesn't happen, we might be 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. What's your take on that, sir?
No, I don't think so. There are many good people in Nigeria.
Many retired major generals?
Oh, no. It could be a general, it could be any one of us, you know. But the truth is, I would rather concentrate on Buhari first, building a solid foundation. The institutions have been bastardized, you know, and we must restore hope and dignity to our country so that whoever takes over will know that there are things you can't change. I remember the other day, I saw the governor of Lagos, you know, Ambode, on the 3rd mainland bridge, and he was going slowly, quietly. And I remember that was what Governor Fashola did in his time, you know. So you will see that if the former governor was doing gra-gra, then the next governor will also probably do gra-gra. But if the other governor was cool and calm as cucumber, and then the new one knows, hey, people are going to abuse me and say, why can't you see what your predecessor was doing? The foundation that we need, and that's one of the reasons I supported Buhari at that time. I told people we needed a Mandela option in Nigeria. We needed a father figure. Because in the days of tribulations, you run to the elders of the house. We needed a man who can say, shut up, and then we all sit down. You know, because at the rate we were going, things were just reckless. We needed someone to apply the brakes for us, and I believe that is what we're doing right now. So whoever takes over, whenever, I don't know how many times the president might want to, but if he has done well, why can't he
go again?
Go again, as long as God gives him good health. He's still a young man. He might not be as young as me, but at 72, 73, he still has a lot of energy in him.
And let's move on quickly to the sector of the economy, or should I say the demographic of the economy that you are very much engaged in, which is the youth. We're seeing a lot of young Nigerians being even drafted into positions of special advisors in the present cabinet. And basically, how do you see, you interact a lot with the young ones, the youth, the young leaders, the entrepreneurs. How do you see them keen into this new vision of change?
To be quite honest with you, I don't think they are very young. You can't call a man, I mean, Femi Adesina is 50 now. He's my brother, he's my friend. It's not too young to be a special advisor. But it's good because, of course, not too long ago, we saw a lot of very old people in their 70s and maybe even close to 80. Yeah, but in the good old days, you had the MT Mbus, the Enauros, the Bola Iges, the Olun lawyers. They were in their 20s. The General Gowans, you know, they were very young people, Yaradua, everybody. So to say at 50 that we're young is because...
Well, not even you. I'm talking about the younger, maybe between the 30, 40 age bracket.
How many of them?
Who can step in?
No, how many of them, you know, are in government? I would love to see more of them. You have a lot of brilliant people, you know, without being biased, especially on social media. These days, you can see the way these guys dazzle. I mean, the use of language.
But is that enough, sir? That's the issue. A lot of our young Nigerians are social media inclined. They're very vocal on social media. Very few percentage are very active on the streets, so to speak. How do you measure, how do you evaluate their role in the bigger picture? A lot of people, I can get on Twitter now, register on Instagram, and, you know, make some noise. But in terms of actual change, how can we actually
Trust me, it's because the times have changed. In our own days, you have to be on the streets. You have to go to jail for people to know that you are an activist. But right now, the power is in that machine, that telephone, that laptop, that iPad. You don't have to go on the streets and get killed. Actually, we're much more effective now on social media. And I can tell you, woe betide any leader. I know a leader who left not too long ago, I don't want to mention any name, you know, who said on television one evening, oh, I see people, they abuse me every day. They think that votes will come from social media. Yeah. But the same man claimed at some point that he used the same social media. He even told us that he's the friend of the youth because he's social media savvy. But when the heat got too much, the same man ran away from social media. I can tell you that the next election will be largely determined and decided on social media. Because from the touch of a button, you are talking to millions of people in their homes. When all the jamborees of having to go on the streets and say you are doing rallies would have reduced. You will still do it, but it will not be the way we've always done it. Because it's next to nothing.
And talking about moving on, this coming to you, sir. We have some newspapers that are closing shop on their hard copies. They're going online. What is happening with Ovation so far, sir? Just an update, because we've been hearing more of you, and I don't know, just to update our viewers.
I can tell you that a lot of magazines, not just in Nigeria, are closing shop because, as I said, the power is on social media. Yes. But fortunately for us, we were ahead of our time. And the best way to put it is the way Fumi Yoda has put it. He said, before Instagram, there was Ovation. So what you have now that they call Instagram, with people putting their pictures on the social media, that's what Ovation does. But the beauty of it for us, unlike the so-called hard news, is that if I tell you, or if someone calls you now to say, I saw your picture on Ovation Instagram, you will still want that hard copy. So right now we're doing 364 pages of,
wow.
A3 published. We have been with the same printers in Enfield in England for over 15 years. We've not changed our printers. You see, so while people are closing shop, we are even looking for more space. We have exhausted that space. 364 is the maximum that the magazine printing company is able to do in London. So if we're going to do 400 pages, we have to find a new printer. You see, that's how voluminous it is. And people are ready to wait for it. Because it's a collector's item. It's something you want to keep forever. Whereas it's on social media, you can't print it out. But this one, you can actually show off with it. You can put it in your living room.
So it's good to say that business is still very good, sir.
Oh, we thank God. You see, we can't complain. All glory belongs to him. It's tougher because, of course, there are so many other magazines coming after us. But trust me, we're running ahead, and they are coming behind.
Just to round up quickly, sir, your column, Pendulum, has gotten quite major review. Very lengthy at times, and your use of adjectives and proverbs has become very signature. Do you see yourself still continuing with the Pendulum, or is this something you want to take a break from and focus on other areas?
No, it's impossible to stop. It has actually become an addiction. What I'm trying to do now is to publish some volumes.
I was about to say that. Isn't that going to be the next
oh, yeah.
step?
I mean, I have a lot.
How long has it been now, sir?
The first time I wrote a personal column called Pendulum was in 1991. That's about 24 years ago, you know. But before then, I was writing for The Guardian. I was writing
of course.
for the Sunday,
writing has always been
for the Sunday Tribune. I was writing in Weekend Concord. I wrote for Fame. I wrote for Global Excellence. I wrote for the Sun newspaper. So I've been everywhere. And so I have so much now that I can publish. And people want to read. I'm happy that I see a lot of young ladies who said they never liked politics. But because of Pendulum, every Saturday, if I don't publish, it's almost impossible. Some people will fight. It is that serious.
Well, I was gonna ask as to who do you read? A lot of people read Pendulum, but who do you read to get?
I am very greedy about reading others. I read Sonala Olumese. I mean, that's the master for me.
Okay.
Of course, my Kawu Infa, my former boss at Weekend Concord, I read him very religiously. Muhammad Haruna, fantastic writer.
Any young writers?
Oh yes, a lot of them. I read Omojua. I love to read what he writes. Of course, Tolu Ogunlesi. When Femi Adesina was writing, you know, we have a lot of very bright writers.
Okay, I'm getting a word from my producer now that we'll probably have to have you for another hour, maybe sometime very soon. Chief Dele, thank you very much for coming on Rubbin Minds.
Thank you.
We have yet another guest in the studio who will be joining us. She is a broadcaster on a personality. She is very vocal and she's touched a lot of lives through her show. That's a Tea Break with Titi. We will talk more with Titi Oyinson after this. And of course, don't forget Vico, who is in the building. A lot of tweets coming in already. A lot of people are excited to talk to him, to meet him. We have your questions ready for him as well. Still, Rubbin Minds will be back after this.